someone, or are you personally battling a drug and alcohol addiction? Why are so many people addicted today? And why have so many people died as a direct result of this disease? If you've been affected by this problem and want answers like we do, then join us in our efforts to face this disease. Our purpose is to examine the truths, expose the lies, and uncover and provide resources to this affliction. Come, join us in this journey.
I was 26 years old. I was sitting in my truck in the parking lot of a movie theater getting high.
I was an outcast my whole life, I didn't know where I belonged.
Knocking my head against the wall over and over and over again.
So I came to Narcotics Anonymous. I heard a message that made my ears pop.
People who I can relate to and identify with. Managed to heal relationships, start families, and be happy with life.
Drug problem? We can help. We've been there. Narcotics Anonymous.
Hi, welcome to Addiction and Recovery TV. I'm your host, Charlene DeChico, and today we are in the studio and we have a live guest on FaceTime. So please help me welcome our special guest, Bob L. from North Jersey. And Bob is the director and also the author of an amazing theater troupe called Visions. So first of all, welcome so much, Bob, for joining us here today.
Thank you.
And Bob's coming to us live from North Jersey, so that's quite a distance. We're actually from coast to coast right now. The East Coast meets the West Coast. So Bob is our guest today because he has an amazing story to tell. Bob is a part of this theater troupe of about 20 members. Is that correct, Bob? Usually there's about 20?
About 20 to 25 members per show.
And so this theater troupe has not only reached over 40,000 people, but this is a troupe that deals with exactly what we talk about here on Addiction and Recovery TV, with addiction and recovery. So tell us a little bit about the troupe, Bob, if you can, and the mission of the Visions productions that you do and perform.
Visions is a story of bottoms, and the emotions that come from drug and alcohol addiction, the awakening, and coming into 12-step recovery meetings. What we depict is intense scenes that deal with the emotions, because every addict and alcoholic has their own scenario, but they all can identify with the emotions, the isolation, the despair, the anger, the feeling useless, and we show that. But more importantly, we show recovery. And when we're done with our show, we go out into the audiences and tell them we sat there in the rehabs and shelters and prisons where you are. And then we ask them to join us to carry a message.
That's amazing. And so let me get this straight. Okay, this is a theater troupe of at least 20 people. You guys have been in business since, 1991, if I'm correct?
91, and it's grown to 500 anonymous volunteers. No one uses last name.
That's amazing. And so this production, you've performed in rehabs, institutions, theaters, off-Broadway. Like, you guys have been around.
Majority of our shows. And we've done a couple of big ones. NA World.
12-Step Fellowship World Convention, right?
But mostly, we go into the rehabs and shelters and prisons, and we turn a cafeteria, a conference room into a theatrical event with staging, lighting, sound, and 20 to 25 members. Wow. And those are our beloved audiences.
Wow.
It's just amazing. The reactions we were getting, they're weeping, they're hugging us, and we want to bow to them, because we realize, as I got into recovery, I realized that what they seen in me, they seen in themselves.
Right.
Those people who greeted me with kindness, and we want to bow to them, those people in early recovery.
So you have this theater troupe, you guys go in, you do your performance, you set up the room, whether it be, like you said, a conference room or a cafeteria. Your actors get in position, you have lights, music, the actors, the script. And so the performance is what, about an hour long each show?
It started out as 25 minutes, and after 29 years, it's a little bit over an hour.
Okay.
What works
Wow.
and don't work has been taken into consideration, and it has grown. The characters have been more defined, but it's powerful.
Yeah,
It's so powerful.
and I know people that have seen the production, and it is, the feedback that you get is that it is a very moving experience. And I know that you have had press, you've been in the press, and people have been talking. There's been buzz about the show. And what at Addiction and Recovery TV, what we really want to highlight is this amazing thing that you guys are doing by carrying the message. And we look forward to seeing you perform possibly on the West Coast out here in California. What's the furthest you've gone in your production outside of the North Jersey region?
We've made it to Texas.
Wow.
I've trained troops in Texas, Topeka, Kansas, Michigan. Trained troops now. West
Wow.
Virginia. I trained troops at a Phoenix House in New York and in Brooklyn, Samaritan Village in the Bronx, Evers Village in Patterson to do outreach. And it has been a healing,
Wow.
not only for the audiences, but for the troop. For the troop itself, a way to give back after taking for so long.
Sure. Now, can I ask you, let's talk about some of the characters in the play. If we were to name some of the characters, obviously a drug user, drug abuser, drug dealer. Can you tell us a little bit about the characters in the show?
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. We try to depict from a lot of scenes, a lot of different scenarios. Family issues, work issues, youth at risk, homelessness, HIV, all centered around substance abuse. There is prostitution, there's jail scenes, there's people stealing from the purses, people getting fired, people being told they have HIV, people ODing in the show.
Wow.
But most make it to the rooms and share about being human and greeting their neighbors and hugging their children.
Right.
Powerful
Awesome.
stuff you didn't think much about
Right. Sure.
when you were innocent.
So now, if I, being an actress, want to get involved with the troupe, want to audition or be in a production, how long would I need to rehearse and learn the script? I mean, how long does it take you guys to prepare for a show?
Not like that. This is not like that.
Okay.
We open our arms and hearts to those 18 years older. Girl's blind. My lighting guy has one leg. We open it up to them. I don't know. Most of the troupe has never been actors or been on stage. So there's when people say, "Can I audition?" I kind of like chuckle because welcome. We could use
Right.
you. That's how I look at it.
That's awesome.
And in them, they have such passion, and they know what it's like. All those powerful emotions, and they know recovery and the hope that comes from it, and the joy. So a lot of actors can't get that, but these people who either been addicted or been in the orbit bring such wonderful things to the show. Passion.
Sure. Well, that's like method acting at its finest, right? You know, because acting is believing and drawing from that memory and that pain and experience, right?
Yes,
So it's just
yes.
reliving their truth, but then also bringing that spin of hope. So, I mean, do you start the show with kind of like that dark overtone of addiction, and then it kind of winds down with the recovery message, or it's just a series of scenes and
The show invokes, as a musical score, a tremendous amount of lighting that depicts the spiritual awakening as people reach out to this warmth, the light. And it's usually done in silence, because that's how it is. It is in silence. And then they come into the rooms.
Wow. Well, you know, the delivery, just the passion. It sounds like so many people that are in the production. It's a production of unity, preparation, passion, emotion, truth. You know, you can only expect something wonderful when all of those ingredients are put together. And then you being so passionate yourself and bringing that to the table, I'm curious to know that if a treatment center were to call and say, listen, we really want you guys to come out, can you come perform for us next month or in 2 months, and you needed to get together a cast, like how long does it take you guys to prepare to get out there and give them a great show?
Well, I mean, there's so many scenes and visions that, I mean, you want them to be the best that they can be.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months, minimal, I say.
Right.
And that's not meeting every day because people work and they have other issues. But maybe once a week or twice a week. And once they do a show, that's like 20 rehearsals.
Sure.
And
so they're ready. So now, okay, if someone was going to come to the show and you know, they're going to come out, they're going to witness the Vision Recovery play, what would you tell them to expect? Or if you wanted to explain, you know, to someone that's just walking right in off the street, like what is their experience?
have a cup of coffee, get a donut, sit down, welcome.
Welcome.
We're a family here.
That's awesome. Well, Bob,
500 volunteers so far.
500 volunteers, reached over 40,000 people. We love...
declined publicity. We've declined a lot of publicity.
Really?
That was bent in saying, who did you kill, and all of this other stuff.
Right.
You know, they were more interested in our personal story than the story of the Vision's message of hope.
Right.
And with them, we declined.
Sure.
Well, we
So
had
is that the
something
story?
else.
Is that the Vision story? What is the Vision story? Is it a message of hope that, you know...
It is anyone could show despair and misery of addiction. We're showing that, and we are showing recovery.
Right.
And we're going out to the audience and saying, join us.
Join
Come with
us.
We were where you were, and it's just amazing. Amazing.
Right. Well, it sounds amazing. We want our viewers to know to look for Bob L. online. You can go to visionsrecoveryplay.com. If you are a treatment center or a facilitator, or you know someone that is in charge of theater productions, a local theater, whatever in your community, you need to get Vision Recovery Play into your area, into your treatment center, because this is a message. They're carrying the message. They're sharing with the community and with addicts, not only everyday people, but they're reaching addicts. And that's what's so sincere about what you guys are doing, is because you're bringing these plays into treatment centers, and the addicts that are suffering are the ones that need to be reached. So we really commend you for taking that initiative. We look forward to seeing you on the West Coast. We're not going to give up with getting Visions out here on the West Coast.
I look forward to the West Coast.
And we want our viewers to go online and look up Visions Recovery Play. Get involved. You can be in the troupe. You heard Bob say it, that just get involved, just welcome. Everybody has a part to play, and they take this production very seriously. And we're just super excited about what you guys are doing, and we want to see you continue on the process. And any way that we can help here at Addiction and Recovery TV, we want to do it.
Well, thank you. That was very kind.
Yes, thank you very much, Bob. We look forward to seeing you soon in LA. Thanks for being our guest.
Thanks for having me.
Special thanks to our guest at Vision Recovery Play. We hope that you enjoyed hearing from Bob today. We certainly did. We remind you to reach out to the visionrecoveryplay.com website, get involved, and hopefully you can bring the troupe to your neck of the woods and give Bob a call and speak to him about their amazing production.
Circles, caged in, broken down, emptiness within me, in the crowd. I close my eyes, then suddenly surrender, arms open wide, I call to try to run, there comes a time for sudden surrender.
Someone take me out!
See face.
Okay. All right, John, good job.
Drinking, getting drunk, driving, and I draw on that. I draw on a lot of experiences with my friends. A lot of them went down the wrong path and aren't with me today. They're over on the other side now.
$5? I mean, do I look like a $5 hoe to you?
I relate to the role more than just being an actress, but I have a sister who, she's HIV positive and who is also a drug abuser.
It's therapy, yeah. But I think it's more like a gift. And what Barbie did, I don't know how he ever came up with this, and seeing all these things, because I seen them myself.
Okay, I want to, you gotta, you're crying. Okay.
You took it all. You took the money for the rent. You took the money for the food. There's no one else we could borrow from.
Baby, it's my money too.
You smoked up your damn money!
I wouldn't do this. I'm not trying to look for a role on Star Wars 2. You know what I mean? I do this because I consider this. I mean, this is one of my backbones to my recovery. There's no question about it.
Oh, no! I told you I'd be back. I didn't do nothing. Yeah, huh? You didn't do nothing. What do you got, Tony? Get down, get down.
Are there any real-life experiences that would help you to understand the play and play this character?
Oh, absolutely. My father was a big-time drug dealer.
I do the lights. Once I set up the lights, I can talk to the audience, and that's what I do it for. I do it so I can help another alcoholic or a drug addict.
We will be fine. You're no better. I just have to take the pills. I just have to take some pills. You don't understand.
I was led to the program of recovery, where I no longer feel I have to pick up a substance to feel better about myself. I'm okay the way I am.
I honestly believe, Carl, that the reason they're addicted is because they're very highly evolved souls who've lost their way, trying to find their way home. And somehow, maybe they thought drugs and alcohol were a medium for them to find it.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that cannot change, the courage to change the things that can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
So we're giving these people, these wonderful people, my brothers and sisters, an opportunity to be in theater where they may never get a chance to be in theater.
Suddenly surrender, arms open wide, I call to an angel.
We just want to thank you for your continued support here at Addiction and Recovery TV, for tuning in to our broadcast each week. And we want to remind you that we would like to hear from you. And if you'd like to be a guest on our program, we'd love to hear your story. There are so many people today, more than ever, that are struggling in the area of mental health, addiction, and substance abuse. At Addiction and Recovery TV, not only do we want to talk about those issues, but we really want to make it a point to highlight the recovery aspect of all of these afflictions that we have encountered, because recovery is possible and people are recovering and healing, but it's all about plugging into those resources and having that initiative to move forward in that process.
Have you ever felt like you're unsure of the future or think that your past is going to stick with you? Do you have feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and maybe no one believes in you or you don't believe in yourself? Well, my name is Joe, and I'm here to tell you that if you check in with Addiction Recovery TV, we have plenty of stories of people like that, including myself. We ask that you tune in, contact us, and get to know stories of other people like yourself to give you some hope and some feedback and a new outlook on life and how to move forward, because it's possible.
Many people have been touched by addiction, either directly or indirectly. Join us as we educate and break the stigma associated with addiction. Together, we can start a revolution and bring the disease out of the darkness and into the light.
Great. Looking at this Danube River architecture and the water line is absolutely remarkable. But when I think about what the Jews endured here in World War II, it's absolutely startling. Let's take a closer look down at the shoes on the Danube River. Standing here, taking a moment of reflection, thinking about the horrors that the Jews endured here during World War II. In some bitter winter months, the story's been told of how many were lined along these river banks, many who were shot naked, falling into the hands of the cold river on a winter's day or maybe even evening here in Budapest. This is the story that's told here, lying right here along the riverside. Although it is a tragic story told along this river line, we've come to see a people who, in spite of this terrible events that happen here along the Danube River, we have seen overcome and persevere, not only in these parts of Budapest, but in other parts of Europe. If the soul could be broken, wouldn't it be here? And if the spirit could be destroyed, couldn't it be here? But that is not the case. There is a story of inspiration that comes from the depths of these rivers. Hi, I'm standing here in Budapest at the Cave Church here, and I'm with Jad, right?
That's correct.
A little bit of what I know so far about this church. Before it was a church, it was like a natural spring, a water spring, right?
Absolutely. That's part, we call that, is the outer cave.
Okay.
That was a cultic place till 1,000 years ago.
Okay. We're standing out here. This is a big cave around us.
Yeah,
this
at the big
open,
cave,
right?
sure. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's open. Open. This part is the more than 4 million years old, the middle of the Earth history.
Really, middle
Absolutely,
of the earth.
yeah.
So we're
And
standing also across is the Danube River
Absolutely,
here. So
absolutely.
that's a very historical thing. And then at one point we know that this was all closed up. They built a wall right in front after it was made a church. So it was made a church.
Absolutely.
Right?
So
Not too often that you
I
get to
understand,
visit a
yeah, sure.
church inside of a cave. So if you're in Budapest, make sure you come check out the cave church here. In Budapest, Hungary. We are at a lovely coffee shop here. And I was talking to George today about some things that we talk about on A&R TV involving mental health and addiction.
As far as the addiction is concerned in Budapest, would you say that there is one drug that is predominantly a problem? Like in the US, we have a heroin epidemic. Opiates are really a big problem. I don't know if you're aware that marijuana is legalized. Some countries, alcoholism is a big issue. What would you say is the primary issue here in Budapest for drug addicts?
I think alcohol is the main drug in Hungary. I was lucky because I never had this issue, because when I was young I was epileptic and treated for it and couldn't use alcohol.
What about if you were seeking treatment? If you had a drug problem and you needed to go to rehab, let's say, does something like that exist here? Rehab, detox, yes?
Yeah, and I regularly go there as an interpreter if people from other countries come out, experts or psychologists, and it's mainly in the south of Hungary, so the climate is better there, and I like to go there, yes.
So if someone was seeking treatment, the system or the government, there are programs set up so someone can find treatment?
Absolutely, and it's free, basically.
That's amazing. Now, what about as far as members of these communities that are in recovery, that have gone maybe in treatment or have received detox services? Do you think that there's still a need or a level of awareness that you would like to see in Budapest? I mean, do you think that the country has a good handle on what is happening, or it's just treated medically, like just go to a hospital or a facility? Or do you think that society as a whole understands what the drug addict is going through?
Societies as a whole are always split, and there will be always the majority who has simply probably not the mental or emotional capacity or maturity to deal with this problem, or to want to know about it. It's always a minority problem, but I think here, especially in this city, in Budapest, which is with its 2 million people in a 10 million country, this is the heart of the place and the hub of it. I think many people do know about it.
And they know where to go or what to do. Yeah.
Generally, I think there are some star psychologists who care for it too, and who manage to be in TVs and in morning shows.
And talking about it, raising awareness.
And there are some celebs who are in the papers, in the media all the time, and people do know about it. I think it must be, it must be the exception. Who doesn't know it?
Let me ask you from a mental health standpoint, people that we've learned that most addicts, it's a mental disorder, so it comes from some sort of mental illness. Are they treated fairly? I mean, does the country recognize mental illness as a disease and a sickness, and people are able to get treatment as well for mental health?
Yes. I was given treatment for bipolarity and many other mental problems which I had when I was young. I think the system has been changed, but basically still there exist hospitals who treat mental. This discussion goes on everywhere all the time, and it's okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, George, and we're looking forward to
Sure.
talking to more people here in Budapest. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here today at Addiction and Recovery TV.